marijuana orgies. Let me tell you what, I guarantee you is a fact. Every single young person wants to have sex way before they want to smoke weed.
Yeah. Hell's yes. But that's the thing. And I think that's what's helping this whole cause is the fact that the information is finally getting out there.
But the marijuana smokers aren't pushing back. Oh, wow, man. That really sucks, man. Whereas the beer drink, oh, hell no.
Yeah.
We're just going to bust down this door. We're going to have speaking. We don't give a fuck. We're just, why?
That's because when prohibition of marijuana started, it wasn't that big of a thing. It wasn't.
You're probably right there where prohibition of alcohol, everybody was already drunk.
Right. And the fact of the matter, there were no bars. You didn't go to a bar to get high. You went to a bar to get drunk. And that's where your socialization started, and that's where all the thing was. But back then, in the turn of the century, from 1800s to 1900s, people were smoking weed, but they were doing it at home, or they were doing it with a couple of friends, and that was it. It wasn't a socialization thing. It wasn't a key point to their, this is the end of my day, I need to get stoned. That's just not the way it was. Usually people were like, oh, I've had a hard day, let's go get a beer. And because there were places they could go to get a beer and socialize with other people, fellow kinship, if you will.
Smoking weed wasn't popular whenever they outlawed it.
I wouldn't say it wasn't popular. I would just say it wasn't as popular as the alcohol was for prohibition.
Well, then why outlaw it? Were they real? Well, first of all, we already know the answer.
Cocaine was actually more prevalent than marijuana when it was outlawed. When marijuana was outlawed, it wasn't as prevalent. Cocaine was a huge fucking... The Roaring 20s was because of cocaine. That's all they did. They snorted fucking... Hell, the fucking Coca-Cola was made with cocaine.
Doctors prescribed it.
Yeah, but
it gives buoyancy to the mind.
Yeah, but even then, they just figured people were more, and people were snorting it left and right. There was a point where you could get cocaine anywhere. Anywhere. You could walk someplace and just be like, I'd like an ounce of cocaine, please. Okay, thank you.
Can you imagine what coke heads would do if they went back in time?
Fucking be high all the time.
Can they just be like...
I bet coke was different back then, though. Just a little bit, because it was probably more impure. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't have chemical ways of being able to separate it as well. So it's probably not quite the buzz that we were thinking it is. Not like the stuff you got in the 80s and 90s where it was like... Fucking hey, man, let's go do some shit,
Yeah, but
it was still coke,
You and I can sit and drink. Well, I don't know about you, but I still can sit and drink 3 or 4 cans of Coke with no problem at all.
Yeah,
polish them right down.
Exactly.
That would have had a good, nice buzzing effect on me back in the 20s.
Very much so. And it's one of the reasons why it took so long for cocaine to be outlawed, because of the Coca-Cola Corporation. Because they were like, oh man, you can't take away our main drug. They were like, oh man, fuck. All right, well, we'll get rid of that. We'll put caffeine. How about that? That's exactly what they did. They said, oh, there's something natural they don't know anything about. Let's just put that in there. And they did. They put caffeine in instead. And that's where caffeine's addictions come from. Hey man, that's the way shit happens, man.
People talk about cigarettes being the gateway drug. Marijuana being the gateway drug. Yeah. No, caffeine is the gateway drug.
I honestly think it's by merit by merit basis. It's person to person. It's not.
So we're like where you nicotine will just rule your world, where somebody like me can't say no to THC, but I'm not gonna have any problems with alcohol or gambling.
Exactly.
Whereas
it's not. I don't think it's much of an addiction for you as would be classified as an addiction.
Oh, I think it is an addiction.
Do you?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I think if you came upon a dry spell, you could quit, and it wouldn't be as harsh for you as it would be. Yeah, there would be some side effects, but I think
there'd be some, but not. I'd be miserable.
You've done it before.
A couple times.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's what makes me think it's not necessarily an addiction as much as it's just a good time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
going out and blowing money gambling, that's not a good time. That is somebody who just reciprocating in their head thinks, I can make all this money back. And they've guided themselves into thinking that, and that's what does it. Their brain does it for them. People who drink all the time, I think for them it's a release. Not an enjoyment. I think it's a release. I think they just go out and they get fucking buzzed drunk or drunk just so they can get away from everything and escape. Or because that's the way they were raised, or what have you.
That's mine. Mine's an escape. Well, sometimes it's a coping mechanism.
See, that's the thing. Yours is a little bit different because I don't even see that. I see. Have you ever been in a situation when you were like, I'm by myself, I have some weed with me, but then I'll wait and smoke it later. No? Free time? No.
I tell you what, man, it's like this. After I read my Bible and have my prayers in the morning, it's on. We are smoking from that point until the time we go to bed.
It's time to go Weedcation. Nice.
I'm on a Weedcation.
Yeah.
Hey, that's it for the Jeff and Dan Show Rewind for this week. Remember that if you'd like to be a special guest and you are in the South Central Pennsylvania area, just reach out to us by visiting jeffanddan.com. That's jeffanddan.com. And you can listen to our show weekly on Spreaker, usually at 7 p.m. on Wednesdays. Thanks a lot, and you guys have a great week.